why don't we go ahead and get started? A couple of just housekeeping items, and then we'll jump into the content here. First thing, as you guys can probably see, we will be recording this webinar. So if you have folks on your team that were unable to join, or any other agents that you're working with, or if you yourself want to go back through and rewatch the webinar, we are recording it and we'll plan to send this out at some point, either later this week or early next week, just so you have an opportunity to go back through or share it with anybody on your team that was unable to make it. The other thing quickly, we'll try to make this as interactive as possible. I think Natasha is actually going to be doing covering most of the material today, but I will keep an eye on the Q&A and the chat sections here. So if you all do have any questions that pop up, please feel free to either drop them into the chat or into the Q&A. I'll keep an eye on those and we'll make sure that we get those answered as we're going through the materials, but then we'll save some time towards the end as well to address any questions. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. First, wanted to thank everybody for joining and welcome you guys to a webinar. We haven't done one in a little while, so we're excited to get back into offering a lot of great content and tools to our agent partners like yourselves. Today, I'm incredibly excited to be talking about a new sales kit that we have available for all of our agent partners. This is probably also the first time that a lot of folks are meeting Natasha, who has recently joined our team and will be focusing on primarily marketing for both Liferaft, but also focusing on how we can actually build better tools and content for you all as our agent partners to be able to give you, I think, content that is easily usable so that you can start to use that when you're interacting with either new clients or existing clients that you have. And so I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself in a moment, but just to kind of set the stage for the sales kit and the thought here, as a lot of you probably remember, you know, my kind of background is really as a producer. Before I started Liferaft with my co-founders, I was a producer building primarily an annuities business. And so everything that we're thinking about in terms of the tooling and the content that we provide to you is really, I think, rooted in the idea of how do you start to build your practice? I know all of us as producers have a lot of different product options that are available to us. Our sales processes are all slightly different. The goal with the sales kit is really to be able to give you easy to use templates that as you're interacting with clients, whether, again, it's new clients, right, that maybe are just coming to your business and are looking for major medical or are looking for supplemental products. But even with your existing client base, I think a lot of, you know, a metric that I talk about frequently is revenue per customer. When you're in a world where you have an existing book of clients, right? A thing that we need to be, I think, focused on is how do we provide both additional value to our customer base, but really it gives us as agency owners and business owners an opportunity to be able to cross-sell and increase our revenue per customer. That can get really, really hard if you don't have the right tools or the right content, or maybe don't know where to start. And so I think the sales kit is really meant to be that, that template and that roadmap for you all, where if you're new to selling Liferaft or even have been selling it for some time and have a lot of conversations with customers, these are going to be really great, I think, emails and videos that you can use as you start to market the products to your client base. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Natasha, and she'll start. Maybe Natasha, you could start with a little bit of just an introduction in your background, and then from there we can jump into the sales kit. And Franco, I see the question that you have. I will plan to answer that towards the end of the webinar for you.
Cool, thank you. Hey folks, thanks for joining this webinar this morning. My name is Natasha, and I'm really excited to have recently joined the Liferaft team. I've been working in marketing for the last 10 years in a variety. I've worked as a marketing consultant and was most recently the director of marketing at a nonprofit in Oakland. And I've transitioned to the healthcare space, and I'm excited to get to support you all and build marketing resources to help you guys grow your business and help grow Liferaft. So like Nimish said, this is the sales kit that we built out for you guys to use. We wanted to make it as simple as possible for you to use, no matter how large or small your book of business is. And so there's kind of a number of ways that you can use this kit to further your brand and or personalize it a little bit more, depending on how you want to use it. We really designed it to follow a cadence to start off as more educational, just about what supplemental products are, and then kind of introduce folks to each of the specific products that Liferaft offers through kind of specific examples and scenarios that will help folks understand how they work. We wanted to build out multiple emails and multiple videos for you to use so that you would have multiple opportunities to engage with your clients. And also just to help leverage the fact that that's how email marketing often is most successful. You know, one email isn't going to sell all of your clients. I think building up a cadence and consistency with communicating with your client base is going to be the way to build success. So let's see. That said, also one product may be more interesting to some of your clients over another one. And so really making sure that you send them all of the emails in this kit, I think will also help set you up for the most success. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. You can see here, if you have any questions about Liferaft specific products, there's a link in the sales kit to a product overview slide deck that can give you some specific information about Liferaft products. And then as always, you can reach out to info@liferaft.co for questions or support. In this video, in this slide kit, there's also a video here to watch for a step-by-step of how to use it. I'm not going to play that right now. We're going to dive into that a little bit here, but if you wanted a shorter video about how to use it, you can go into that. Nimish, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No.
Good. Okay.
Keep going. Yep.
So I'm going to skip this video for right now.
Hello.
Okay, so this is the first email, and I'm going to spend the most time kind of diving into this one, and then we'll review the other ones as well at the end. So this is email number 1, announcing Liferaft to clients. Like I said, the goal of this email is going to be a little bit more educational as opposed to really heavy hitting sales, to just help folks understand what supplemental insurance is and kind of the value prop that it provides before going into more product specifics, because a lot of folks might not even know that supplemental products exist. You can click here to easily copy this content, and this is going to open up a Google Doc where you can easily copy the content. You can see some subject line options for you to use, as well as the actual video link that's already in the email and already linked on this image. But just in case it gets lost when you're copying and pasting, you can find that here. Each of these emails is going to have a personalized introduction, kind of a short and sweet intro that gives context to what the email is about, and then a 1-minute video that dives in a little bit deeper into the topic, and then a call to action at the end. So that's a similar structure that all of the emails are going to follow, with an opportunity for you to personalize with your name or signature. The content that's highlighted is the content that you'll need to personalize. And when we were designing the emails, we wanted to make sure that they felt really scannable. So the personalized touch at the beginning kind of draws the client in. The photo of the embed of the video makes it really clear what the email contains and the way that we expect the client to engage. And, then you make your short call to action at the end where you're telling them what you want them to do. And then your personalization with the signature. So like I said, let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you how you could use it. You could use this email kit manually, where you're like literally copying and pasting and updating each email one by one for each client that you have. And you can also use it in an email marketing client tool, something like MailChimp or HubSpot or Customer.io, where you would take these highlighted fields and use merge fields to send it out to a larger list automatically. I'm not going to go into how to do that because there's so many different kinds of email marketing clients that you could use to personalize your emails. But if you do have any to mass send your personalized emails, but if you do have any questions about that, we can talk about that at the end. So if I was going to send this to one client, I would copy this email text here, and then you can go to your email client and just paste. And when you paste here, you'll see these highlighted areas that you'll need to update. So I'll be like, hi, Natasha, to myself, and you can call me at my number. And notice that sometimes this will still be highlighted, so you can just update that. Your name, and then I would just make sure to double check that the link is still going there, and you can actually click and make sure it's going to the video that you want. This is the what is supplemental insurance video, and it's unlisted because at the end it has a little ending that says ask your broker about how to sign up with Liferaft, and I'll talk about ways that we can personalize that for you a little bit later on. You can pick, we gave you 2 different subject line options, so you can just pick the one that you like the most. I like this one the most, so I'm going to pick that one. Put your subject here and then put your recipient here and send. So it's as easy as that. Like I said, you can request a personalized video with your own logo and branding. So I'm not going to play all of the videos today because they're available for you to watch. But if you see at the end,
how to sign up for ask your broker how to sign up for Liferaft.
On this slide, we can actually put your personalized brand or logo. And the way to request that is to visit this form where you can request a branded video, and you're just going to tell us your email, your full name, what videos you're interested in getting a personalized video for, and then submit a file of your logo. Ideally, it would be on a transparent background, but we can work with what you have. And we'll upload a new unlisted video to YouTube with your name in the title and description, and then you'll have your logo at the end. And so this is a really great way for you to kind of personalize this kit a little bit further. And then you can also use these videos on your site if you wanted, and it will feel more co-branded and less like you're just putting Liferaft's materials on your website. So that was something that we're happy to provide for you. Just feel free to request it. Okay. I'm just reading my notes. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay, so one thing that I did want to say, I know that I said I wouldn't dive into exactly how to do it with a email marketing, exactly how to send these with a template of an email marketing client. But one benefit of using an email marketing tool over sending it individually is that when you use the email marketing tool, you're going to have insights into the open rates and click rates of the emails that you send out. So you can do follow-up calls to folks that are opening or engaging with your emails. And you can start to track how the success of your email marketing is working. So that's one nice thing about that. I'm going to go ahead and go into the next one. So like I said, the first email, we tried to have it be focused on, bigger picture of what supplemental products are, a little bit more educational. For the next 3 videos focused on hospital, accident, and critical, we tried to really use storytelling and specific examples to help your clients kind of understand when and why they might see the value of a supplemental product. So the hospital supplement video really focuses on the out-of-pocket max to help contextualize the hospital supplement plan. We recommend sending this out to your entire client list. If you got a lot of engagement on your first email that you send out, it might make sense to kind of suppress those folks from the ones that you send out the hospital supplement to, like if they've already responded to you, you had a call about supplemental health insurance, you maybe don't need to follow up with them again about this, and they might feel like that's not as personal of a touch. So that's one thing that you can think about. I would give them some time. I know that we just gave you this kit all at once, and so it might feel, you could send these emails one day after another, but I think that, your clients aren't thinking about this as much as you are, and they also might not be as used to hearing from you. And so sending them a bunch of emails at once is probably going to feel really overwhelming. So I would give them at least a month or 2.5 weeks in between emails to give them a chance to open it, watch the video, think about it, and then have another follow-up and not have it feel really intense. So this is email number 2. It's formatted in the same way. There's some subject line options. There's a unique video link to this video. But like I said, we focused a little bit more on the out-of-pocket maximum. And then in this video, we really broke down a scenario where the hospital supplement plan would make sense for clients. So
if I can just jump in really quickly, Natasha. So to answer a question that Patricia had, Patricia, as you see here in this document, right above where it says email text, there is the video link for this specifically. Right below it is the link for the form where you can actually go in and request the personalized branding for the videos. We'll plan to share that towards the end of the webinar as well. But that's where you're going to be able to find that. That is the same form. And so if you would like every video with your branding, just make sure towards the end there that you're indicating that you want all of those videos. And then we'll go ahead and get those done for you. Couple of quick things I wanted to mention as well. Natasha mentioned a little bit when and how frequently you should send emails. I think a little rule of thumb as well to keep in mind here is, if you haven't previously done a lot of email marketing or email engagement with your customer base, I think giving those emails more time between them is actually a good idea, because you don't necessarily want to inundate your clients with getting a lot of information at the same time, right? So I think find a healthy cadence that works with your business, how frequently you're interacting with customers, and really be able to, tailor it, I would say, to how you typically are doing business today. In general, I think having that recurring connection and content that's going out to your customers is going to be incredibly important, not only for, a cross-sell opportunity potentially, but as we roll back into OEP, right, at the end of the year, for those agents that are primarily selling health insurance, you want to make sure that you're keeping your customer warm throughout the year, so that when it's time for renewal, you're making sure that you're top of mind, and you don't necessarily want that point of interaction to always just be immediately prior to OEP, and then during OEP to get them enrolled, and then not really interacting with them. And so that's one thing I'll say on cadence. I think the other thing I want to mention here is, the first email, I think, is a great category introduction, right? So for those agents maybe that haven't spoken to their clients yet about supplementary products in general, that's really going to give your client, in a non-salesy way, the information that they need to become familiar with the category of products that you then want to be able to follow up in and really help them start to understand why each of the products could be valuable to them, right? So as we've taken each of these product specific emails and videos, the reason that we've contextualized them and put them, if you go through and watch the videos, everything has, I like to call it a case study, but it's essentially in the real world, how is somebody going to find value and actually utilize these products? And so each of these emails and those videos is really going to work to drive an understanding for your customer of how they might use it in real life. But that first email, I think, is incredibly important to set the stage so that your customer isn't necessarily surprised or confused as to why you're sending an email about a hospital plan or a critical illness plan. Now, Natasha also mentioned, I think all of these emails, I think I would strongly recommend, and we strongly recommend at Liferaft, given how email marketing usually works, you want to put people on, what would be called a drip, but essentially this 4 email kind of sequence, right? Where they're getting the first email and then you're starting to follow up and show them each of the product specific videos and emails. That I think is incredibly important. But there is an opportunity, I think, if you have specific clients, right, that maybe when you sat down with them, they were particularly worried about a certain risk, right? For example, if you had a client that said, well, cancer runs in my family, and so I'm a bit worried about that, right? If you didn't have the chance to have the conversation about critical illness at that point in time, I think that critical illness email can actually be used as a standalone follow-up email. And what I would do is I would add maybe a line of text at the beginning of, hey, we had this conversation. It made me think of this product. And I think it could be really valuable for you. So, for those clients, I think that want, or agents that want to do a more comprehensive outreach, all of these emails put together, I think, give you a really great starting place to start to engage with your customers on supplementary as a category, but then Liferaft specifically. But also think about using these emails a bit tactically, right? If you have that conversation or something about a client, you can start to pick and choose and really start and use these in a tactical fashion and send them out on a one-off, if it makes sense for your customer.
Awesome. I just wanted to flag one other thing that I was thinking about with these emails, and it's that all of the emails are going to have 2 different places where the link lives. And I think that it's important that when you're sending them out that you make sure to have that. So here's a video, this text is linked, and then this picture is also linked. And they're both linked because some folks, when they receive emails, have their images hidden and they won't load images when they open an email. And so if you only have the link living on this image, there's a chance that they might not be able to see it. So it's just good general practice to try to have a place in the text where the link can also live. So if you're getting that response, like I don't see a video, that might be one reason why, if you're only linking it on the image. Cool. So I just want to go through the few other emails that we have. Like we talked about, we have one that's focused on the accident supplement. We recommend, again, sending this out to your entire client list and excluding folks that you've been having conversations with about the other 2 emails. If you've had a really recent call with them about supplementals, it might not make sense to send them this email right away. But like Nimish said, also, if you're dealing with someone that is concerned about accidents, they are active in sports or what have you, this could be a really great follow-up to an introductory call that you have with them. And so in the same way, you can visit email 3, the docs are all structured in the same way. There's a link to request the personalized video. It's the same on all of the forms. There's some subject line options. And then we have one about critical illness. It follows a similar format. And then I just want to flag that the last one that we have is about Liferaft's health savings account. And this is only really going to be relevant for your folks that have a high deductible healthcare plan. So I would only send people an email about the HSA if you know their healthcare plan and that this is something that they are eligible for. And we don't have a video right now for the health savings account, but we do have a link to an asset about a flyer about Liferaft's HSA. And what's nice about this flyer is that on the second page, it goes through and identifies some qualified health expenses that people can use their HSA for. And I think that this is kind of a good selling point for an HSA in general. And it's just that there's a lot of expenses that people have that they don't necessarily realize are health expenses, that they could use an HSA for and benefit from the triple tax savings of an HSA. So this email is a little bit longer than some of the other emails that we're sending out because it doesn't have a video component, but it does have this flyer. And I think that it's worthwhile for folks because an HSA can be so valuable for them to send this out to your high deductible, your folks on a high deductible healthcare plan. And if you guys really find that a video would be a helpful addition for you, just let us know and we can pull one together. So yeah, that is the sales kit. Nimish, do you have anything else that you want to add about using this, or if we can dive into questions?
Yeah, so just one thing I want to mention, I think that you alluded to a little bit earlier. So, depending on what your current practices are as an agent, I think there are a few different kind of tactical ways that you can send these emails out. And Natasha talked a little bit about, we've put the emails in a format where you can actually just copy and paste them directly into Gmail or Outlook if you're using those. Maybe you could talk a little bit, Natasha, about kind of, for those folks that don't maybe know what other email clients look like in terms of like a MailChimp and a HubSpot or a Customer.io or CRM in general, what are some of kind of the considerations that they should be thinking about, right? When does it make sense for me as an agent to start thinking about MailChimp versus just emailing my customers directly?
Yeah. So I think that once you have a list size of folks that you want to start regularly emailing with that's over like 100 people, it makes sense to start thinking about an email client. And depending on the size of your list, different options are going to be more interesting for you. So MailChimp is a pretty straightforward email marketing platform that is free, I think, for list size that are under 1,000. And MailChimp is traditionally used for e-commerce focused businesses, but it can be repurposed to be used as just a mass email marketing tool that is free with a UI that's pretty straightforward. Some of the drawbacks of MailChimp is that it often will, because it's often used in e-commerce, it's flagged by a lot of email clients as being promotional. And so unlike sending an individual email through Gmail or an individual email through something like HubSpot, there's a higher chance that your emails through MailChimp might get flagged as promotion and moved to the promotion tab or potentially as spam. But, one-on-one personalized email automation tools can be more expensive. Like HubSpot is more expensive. Some folks they'll use automation tools like Monday or Zapier to build out triggered email marketing flows. And that can just be a little bit more complicated, though, depending on the way you build it out, it can be more cost effective. So I would recommend looking at, I think there's Constant Contact and MailChimp are sort of the two e-commerce focused but cheaper email marketing tools that you could like easily start experimenting with and seeing if it's something that you were interested in doing more frequently. You should only really think about that if it's email marketing is going to be something that you want to start. Yeah. And so folks in the chat, if you guys have other ideas about things that you use that's helpful in your industry, like there's a lot to choose from. I think that the main thing with an email marketing client that's helpful is you can see the folks that are engaging with your emails and start to get a sense of what your list is interested in. And it also helps you, manage unsubscribes, manage segmenting your list a little bit more. You can add tags to your customers based on, if you've already talked to them about supplementals, or if you know that they're interested in a specific thing, or if they're on a high deductible plan, that will make it easier for you as you grow your business to continue segmenting out emails in a way that makes sense. So I think other things that you can do to personalize, if you were going to use an email client, you can build out kind of a template that has your brand that you could then put this text into. And so one thing that's nice about that, if you request the co-branded videos with us, and then you have a template that has your brand featured, and then your website also reflects your brand, it can just create a more professionalized experience for your clients, which helps build trust. And yeah, so like a more consistent brand experience, which will help build trust and make you look like a reputable agent. That's kind of my thoughts on that. But
yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah.
I think the other thing to keep in mind here is an email client like a MailChimp, right? Versus the email that you're doing on a day-to-day basis that is a little more transactional, right? Are gonna probably need two different tools, and the use case for what you're actually trying to communicate and the messaging is going to be different there, right? So a MailChimp or a Constant Contact or GetResponse or Aweber, all of those are really, I would think of those as marketing tools, right? So you want to be able to reach out to a wide number of your clients at one time and really provide them some level of information that doesn't, you want them to take some action, but it is not, hey, there's a question on your very specific policy. Something like that should always be handled through your Gmail or your Outlook or your CRM system. But then having an email, I think, marketing tool is going to be really valuable as you start to think about engagement that isn't necessarily directly policy related. And so emails like what are in the sales kit, I think are a great option for emails that you would use an email marketing client for. Great.
Yeah, and I think just to contextualize this a little bit more, one of the things that we're thinking about at Liferaft is how we can help support building out a more robust, email marketing or content strategy for you. How can we create content that's going to support other ways of you engaging with your clients that aren't 100% about Liferaft, but will help you, build a stronger digital marketing arm, as well as just a stronger kind of cadence and connection with the client list that you already have. So that's something, the sales kit is kind of the first step of that. And we plan on coming out with more resources and tools for you that kind of will also help support those efforts.
Great. So it looks like we have a couple of questions. So I'll walk through those maybe. Why don't we start towards the bottom? So Calbert asked, are these Facebook friendly? I don't see why not, but Natasha, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no. So the videos, definitely the YouTube link you could share directly on Facebook. And that would be Facebook friendly. If you wanted to have a co-branded video that was a square, that would be more Instagram friendly, we can make that for you. It's really easy to make square versions of these as well. So that I can add that to the this request a branded video. I'll add a question that's about if you want a square one. And so then you can just go to this form and fill it out there. But yeah, definitely for LinkedIn and Facebook and Nextdoor, the normal landscape video is going to be ideal, and the YouTube link is fine for that.